Hey guys, this is VinylicPuma, back with another Borderlands 2 video, and today I wanted to talk about Maya the Siren and whether she is any good and or fun to play in solo and co-op. Now, Maya is best known for her PHASELOCK action skill, which is the source of some of her greatest strengths and weaknesses. On the one hand, PHASELOCK is an amazing ability, and when it works, you'll be glad to have it. On the other hand, when it doesn't work as intended, you may find yourself in a tough situation. In this video, I'm going to talk about the various pros and cons of Maya in both solo and co-op settings in an attempt to answer the question posed in this video's title. So let's go ahead and start by talking about some of PHASELOCK's flaws and limitations. While it's true that a significant number of enemies in Borderlands 2 can be PHASELOCKed, there are quite a number of enemies that can't be. For example, common enemies like Threshers, Constructors, and Buzzards, as well as a number of the raid bosses in the game, are immune to PHASELOCK's immobilization effects. Now, it is true that certain PHASELOCK related skills like Converge, Helios, and Ruin will still work in these situations, so you can still potentially slag with Ruin or crowd control with Converge. However, some of Maya's best skills like Chain Reaction, Wreck, and Sweet Release require PHASELOCK to be in full effect, or require you to kill a PHASELOCKed enemy to really take advantage of the abilities that these skills possess. With this in mind, if Maya is in a situation where she can't get the most out of PHASELOCK or is going up against an enemy that is partially or completely PHASELOCK immune, this could put her at a significant disadvantage compared to some of the other characters, as some of these skills allow her to deal a bunch of damage or help with overall survivability. So if you ask me, this is definitely something you should be concerned about while playing as Maya, as the inability to totally PHASELOCK enemies can cause complications with certain skills, which makes you considerably weaker than you would normally be. Also, and while we're on the subject of PHASELOCK, there are a number of PHASELOCK related skills that I didn't mention earlier that just seem to have weird implementation. For example, a skill like Subsequence allows you to chain your PHASELOCKs to other enemies. However, the PHASELOCK's active timer will still count down while that chaining orb is traveling through the air. While I guess I understand why this was done, as having the timer stop could potentially be overpowered, I can't deny that it isn't incredibly frustrating to watch the orb target some enemy it's never going to hit, like a Surveyor, which will leave you vulnerable and exposed to enemy attacks. I also take some issue with the PHASELOCK alteration skill called THOUGHTLOCK. While it may be cool to enslave enemies and the improved PHASELOCK duration timer is nice for certain PHASELOCK related skills like Wreck, isn't it just better to actually lock an enemy in place and just dispatch them yourself? Maybe it's just me, but the enemies that you THOUGHTLOCK never seem to be strong enough to deal enough damage to make combat any easier. And with that in mind, THOUGHTLOCK may potentially be one of the lamest capstone skills of any character's skill tree. Ultimately though, PHASELOCK does have some flaws. PHASELOCK immune enemies can serve to be a challenge to Maya in solo and co-op settings, and while I might be willing to give a skill like THOUGHTLOCK somewhat of a pass due to how it can increase PHASELOCK's duration, the fact that other skills like Subsequence have terrible pathing and don't stop PHASELOCK's countdown timer can be hazardous and can easily put you in fight for your life. However, I would say if you can get past the PHASELOCK immune enemies and some of the more annoying aspects of PHASELOCK, you'll start to realize that Maya is actually pretty excellent. And to start, we should talk about Maya's solo farming potential. For as much as I have complained about PHASELOCK in this video, it is one of the better action skills in the game. Having the ability to totally immobilize an enemy gives you a huge advantage and can prove to be incredibly useful if you're doing a lot of farming. After all, it's a lot easier to crit and one-shot an enemy that can't move, rather than relying on proper timing for pinpoint shots. With this in mind, I would highly recommend Maya to those who intend to do a lot of legendary farming, as you can usually walk up to whatever enemy you need to farm, PHASELOCK them, quickly shoot them in the face, check for the loot that you're looking for, and then rinse and repeat. Compared to some of the other characters, I think Maya is a lot more efficient in these situations, as skills like Reaper are perfect for steamrolling enemies, and provided you're using a bee shield and a sandhawk, you should be able to basically one-shot most enemies very easily. So if you're looking for a character to do a lot of farming, I think Maya is well suited for that purpose. While you may want to save Salvador for some of the tougher raid boss farms, Maya can easily and efficiently take down most of the other bosses for their legendaries. While we're on the subject of solo farming on Maya, we should probably talk about her fleet skill. While it's not Maya's most powerful skill, it's incredibly useful as it greatly increases your movement speed provided that your shields are depleted. At 5 out of 5 points, your movement speed is improved by 50%, and with a Banshee class mod, you can get that to 10 out of 5 or 11 out of 5, which yields a 100% to 110% increase to movement speed, which is virtually double the movement speed. Not only is this skill useful for dodging, flanking, and other maneuvers when your shield depletes, but when you equip the Rough Rider, you can experience the sheer improvement to movement speed at all times, which will allow you to be much better at getting to places faster, and this can be incredibly useful for farming as it cuts down on the time that it would normally take to access a given area. You may find that your co-op friends appreciate this ability as well, as getting to mission objectives and activating areas faster is something that many of them will appreciate. Alternatively, your increased speed can prove to be useful for ninja looting as well, as you can usually get to whatever item drops faster than your comrades. Ultimately though, fleet is a wonderful skill and it's one of the things that makes Maya great. Something else we should talk about involves co-op play. In my humble opinion, and I'm sure some may disagree, but I think Maya is by far the best character for co-op play. And this is mostly because of a couple of different skills, but one of the more noteworthy ones is Res. Res allows you to revive characters instantly from a distance via PHASELOCK, which is extremely useful and is an ability that no other character can really match. Also, Maya has a bunch of other nice healing skills like Sweet Release, where the orbs can be used to heal both Maya and other players, Restoration, which allows you to shoot enemies to heal them, and Elated, which allows you to passively heal while you have an enemy PHASELOCK'd. All of these abilities make Maya a great healer, and when equipped with certain weapons like a Norfleet, you should be able to quickly heal teammates while also dealing a bunch of damage. Aside from healing though, Maya's Converge skill can help crowd control enemies provided you're properly coordinating with your teammates, while skills like Ruin make for a great debuff, which is useful for both you and or your friends to easily take out mobs. When these are combined with the healing abilities, Maya is definitely worth having on your team for co-op play, as she can quickly heal and revive while also crowd controlling and debuffing enemies. So I would say if you're looking for a good character to play co-op, Maya is a phenomenal choice, if not one of the best. On top of that though, Maya is Borderlands 2's SMG specialist. While it's true that Maya doesn't have any skills that outright boost the damage or capabilities of a certain weapon type, she does have both the regular cat and legendary cat class mods, which boost SMG damage. While you will receive a penalty to your accuracy, the upside is that both of these class mods can boost the gun damage of SMGs by as much as 108% for the regular model and 138% for the legendary model. So basically, you're getting a 2x boost to damage with SMGs with either of these class mods, which is quite substantial. It also doesn't hurt that both of these class mods boost skills like Mind's Eye, which can improve damage on criticals, or skills like Wreck, which can boost your DPS while an enemy is PHASELOCK'd. The legendary model in particular also manages to boost Reaper, which can greatly increase damage dealt to enemies with over 50% of their health left, which is perfect for farming. If you ask me, being an SMG specialist gives Maya a major leg up on someone like Axton, as a number of Borderlands 2's SMGs like the Sandhawk, Lascaux, Tatler, Hellfire, Bitch, and Bone Shredder can prove to be phenomenal weapons. Having a class mod that just doubles the damage of these weapons can yield some crazy results with the right build. In fact, I would say that Maya in some ways is probably the best with the Sandhawk and B-Shield combo due to how easily she can increase the damage by swapping out a class mod. Overall, if you like SMGs, I'd recommend you play Maya and try to get your hands on the Cat class mod, as I think you'll find Maya is incredibly effective with them. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Cloud Kill. At one time, this skill was possibly one of the weakest and most useless skills in the game, and this was largely because the skill wasn't properly balanced for some of the later difficulties. In fact, Maya had a few other skills that were similar to this, as skills like Helios and Backdraft didn't properly scale with the much higher health of enemies that were present in later difficulties like Ultimate Voltage Mode and overpowered level 8. However, now, and thanks to some rebalancing with Borderlands 2's most recent patch that released in October 2015, this skill is actually pretty overpowered now. In fact, the damage from Cloud Kill can make short work of enemies on normal mode and makes playing through the game with Maya substantially easier, as Cloud Kill can make short work of the enemies that are present in that difficulty. And while Cloud Kill isn't as powerful as it is in normal mode in some of the higher difficulties, the rebalancing makes Cloud Kill scale a lot more favorably in those later difficulties and can make dealing with armored enemies like loaders much easier. I suppose I wouldn't say it's a one-point wonder on the level of something like Zero's Boar, Salvador's Money Shot, or Krieg's Blood Explosion, but Cloud Kill can prove to be a phenomenal skill and can make Maya the best character to start for people that are new to the game and don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of time and effort trying to make it through some of those early areas. So, I would highly recommend you pick Maya just for this skill because of its great offensive capabilities and how easy it can make the early areas of the game. At the end of the day, guys, I think it's fair to say that Maya is actually pretty excellent. Not only is she an SMG specialist, which is perfect for the B-Hawk combo, but she also has great skills like Cloud Kill, which make early leveling easier, Fleet, which allows you to quickly traverse most maps, and her complement of healing skills like Sweet Release, Restoration, and Res make her an excellent addition to any team for co-op play. Sure, I suppose there are other characters like Krieg, Salvador, and Zero that might be stronger, but there's no denying that Maya can hold her own and make a great addition to any team. If you ask me, Maya's only real issue revolves around phase-lock immune enemies and maybe a few lousy skills like Blight Phoenix and Recompense. Otherwise, I think she's pretty solid and she makes for a great choice, and if you're looking for a character that's great for farming, great at solo and co-op play, and you don't mind that she can't easily take on raid bosses like Salvador can, I think you'll find that she's actually a pretty awesome character to play. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this video, feel free to leave a like, click the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos, and as always, thank you all so much for supporting this channel, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.